secure the border. We want to go back to those policies that President Trump had that made it so that we had security at our border. We didn't have people pouring in from 170 different countries. I was talking to the police chief of Nogales not too long ago. He said, we don't even know the languages anymore. We have to have a Google Translate to just understand where these people are coming from so we can even start processing them. And so we've got to change that. We got to get back to building the wall, securing the border, no catch and release, and remain in Mexico. Those are the ways we can stop this invasion on our border, and we need to get back to that starting on day one. We also need to start, when people are committing crimes, making sure that law and order is happening. My opponent, Ruben Gallego, marches and defund the police rallies. How many people believe we should be defunding the police right now? That's crazy. We want our streets safe. Whether you're in Nogales, whether you're in Phoenix, whether you're in Glendale or Flagstaff, we live in one of the most beautiful states in the country. We want to make sure that when we've worked hard all day and our kids are out of school, we can ride our bikes down the street and not have to worry about crime. We want to make sure that when we go to the corner store, that it's still open, that it didn't have to close down because of all of the shoplifting that was happening. And we're seeing increasingly as stores, retail stores, say they can't remain open because there's so much shoplifting and crime, and nobody gets prosecuted for that because of these Democrat DAs who aren't prosecuting people who commit crimes. We have to get back to law and order. That's not going to happen with a Ruben Gallego who's actually marching to defund the police. I will never defund the police. As a matter of fact, we need to fully fund our police and make sure that our police departments are fully staffed. And we need to get back to, as President Trump says, MAGAnomics. I don't think anybody thinks Bidenomics is working. Everybody is struggling. The dollar is collapsing under Joe Biden. Dollars and $3 sometimes. And I know that's affecting many people down here who do business and run shops. Even when you used to come to Nogales to get a good deal at some of the great shops. I just passed a few and I said, we need to go in there. That looks like a great deal. But the deals aren't as good as they used to be because Joe Biden has crashed our economy. So we need to get back to a strong economy. And President Trump had an economy with record low inflation. We had record low unemployment numbers, and we had job creation happening. We need to get back to that kind of economy. I'm going to work to make sure that we do that when I get to Washington, D.C. Now, I want to talk a little bit about moms and dads and families out there. How many of you have kiddos here or grandkids? And how many of you are worried about their future? I can't be the only one. I'm in this because I have a 19. Somebody just waved their hand. Like, we are really worried about our kids' future. I'm worried about our kids' future. My 19 and 21-year-old, if we don't change course in the next 6 months, I worry that there won't be an America for them, that their rights will be gone, our Constitution will be trampled, we won't have an economy that they can live in. My daughter the other day said to me, Mom, I did the math. She's very good at math, by the way. And even if I worked every waking hour at the rate that I'm working at now, I can't afford to ever buy a home. I couldn't afford the down payment. The average price of a home is $400,000 now in Arizona. She said, I'll never be able to have the American dream. And that's not right. We need to have an economy that if we do the right thing, work hard, pay our taxes, we can attain the American dream. And we need to bring that back with smart policy for our economy. We're going to do that when I get to Washington, D.C. But one thing I want you to know, first and foremost, when I get to Washington, D.C., I can't be bribed. I can't be blackmailed. The lobbyists aren't going to control my vote. My vote on legislation belongs to you, the people of Arizona. Not a bunch of DC lobbyists, not a bunch of powerful people back east. My vote and everything I do, I will be thinking about the people of Arizona. How will this make them more safe? How will this make my people back in Arizona more prosperous? How will it make our children's future better? Those are the kind of parameters I'm going to take when I look at every piece of legislation, because I want to make sure that everything I do in DC is making things better in Arizona, not worse. And that's how I'm going to be looking at every piece of legislation. Unfortunately, we don't have people back there that are doing that right now. We don't have enough outsiders. I am truly an outsider. I've been to DC before. I don't want to become a creature of DC. I want to be spending a lot of time here in Arizona, talking to the people, finding out the issues that matter. And one of those really important things when you have a great representation versus bad representation is constituent services. Have you ever called your congressman or senator and you don't get a phone call back, or you just get a form email, and you actually spent the time to call and you have an issue that's very important to you and you don't get a response? That will not happen with a U.S. Senator Kari Lake's office. You will get a response when you have an issue. Now listen, it's easy to get down and out. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't be the only one who wakes up at 3 and say, what is gonna happen tomorrow? What kind of crazy stuff is coming down the pike tomorrow? I also wake up at 3 because I have to go to the bathroom sometimes. But I wake up, I lay awake at night, and I think, how much more can the American people take? And then I remember that God put us here for this moment. God put us here for this moment, just as he put some of our heroes in history, our founding fathers 250 years ago. He put them there at that moment. He gave them the discernment, the guidance, the knowledge to create this great country. He helped them write the U.S. Constitution. They were placed there at that moment in history for a reason. And I truly believe that God placed us here at this moment for a reason. At this moment, when everything seems to be going haywire, he placed these strong people I see in this room here for this moment to help save this country. And so whenever I get down and out, I just think, thank you, God, for placing me here at this moment. You know, we could have been born 100 years ago. We were born at this moment to save this country, but it's gonna take each and every one of us. It's gonna take us being willing to talk to our neighbors. Even if they don't agree with us politically, we gotta start finding some common ground where we do agree, and then we start from there. If we can find common ground where we agree, it's a lot easier to find those things that we don't agree on and then start working through it. And we need to talk to our neighbors who are independents, Democrats. We need to start talking to Republicans and making sure that we're coming together and we're voting for a change this November. And that change needs to be America First Patriots. It really does. I would just say vote Republican up and down the ticket, but you need to do your homework, but I would say vote Republican up and down the ticket. That's how we're gonna bring a change to this country. And it's gonna take us going out and getting our friends registered to vote. Ask your neighbors, are you registered to vote? I just met a 52-year-old woman the other day. She was so incredible. She had so many great opinions about things. She was passionate, and she wasn't registered to vote. We got her registered to vote. She's gonna vote for the first time this November. And I'm so proud of her. So never assume that somebody never just assume somebody's registered to vote. Ask if they're registered, and if they aren't registered, go to karilake.com. You can get registered right there. You can see where I stand on all the issues there. First and foremost, we've got to deal with this problem at the border. I know it's affecting you. I just came from about a block or two away. We were talking to some of our moms and dads who've lost loved ones because of fentanyl poisoning. Would you guys mind standing up? Look at these beautiful souls here. All of these people have lost a loved one. Do you mind coming up here, guys? All of these mothers and fathers have lost a son or daughter to fentanyl poisoning. We have amazing Ashley, who passed away. She died. She was poisoned at 26. One pill killed her. We have Hannah here, who was only 16 when she was killed. And Lindsay, look at this beautiful girl. She is your sister, 33 years old when she died. She had a baby, a 3-year-old baby. And we have Alexandria, 19 years old when she passed away. And Austin, look at that handsome guy, 24 years old. And Jacob, 31. And what a great young man he was. Kelson, 33 years old. And your son was 26. Guys, We don't want any more parents going through this pain. We don't want that phone call that comes in and tells you that you've lost your son or your daughter. I want parents, when they get a phone call in the middle of the night, to have it be their daughter saying, Mom, I'm having a really good time tonight. I'm going to stay over at my friend's house. These young people won't ever call mom and dad again. They're gone. But thank God for these mothers and fathers behind me. They're willing to stand up and speak out. And I'm calling you up here not to make the pain harder, because I know every time we talk about the loved ones we've lost, I'm calling them up here, and I'm doing this for the media in the back. I know I speak about this all the time, and the media would rather cover stupid stuff here and there. This is important. This is an important issue. And you see these people here, they're all willing to talk. Are you all willing to talk to the media if they'll cover this story? They would love to have you talk to them. And I just ask of the news, which I know I'm very critical of, but I ask that you look at the faces of these people that we've lost. This is a generation that we don't get back. These are futures that we don't ever get to realize. I ask that you seek out these mothers and fathers and talk about this issue and cover this issue, because it is a real issue that is impacting so many families. And so I thank you all for being up here today and sharing your stories of your beautiful loved ones. When I get to Washington, D.C., we're going to go hard on China. We're going to make sure they don't send this poison over anymore. And we're going to make sure the cartels aren't shipping it into our country anymore. And we're going to save lives starting in January of 2025. Thank you. Thank you. I just want you to know everything I do in Washington, D.C. will be for you. The people of Arizona will own me. I won't be owned by big corporations. I will be owned by the people of Arizona. I'm going there to do your work. I need your vote on July 30th. I need your vote in November, on November 5th. This is the day. November 5th is the day we take back our country. We take it back. We're on the wrong path right now, and we get put back on the right path. That is the day that we bring back a secure border. That is the day that we send a loud message that we want to have prosperity once again. That's the day we send a message that we want to be able to afford the cost of living. That is the day we send back a message. We want our streets safe. We want fully funded police departments. We want an education for our kids where they're actually learning something, including trade skill training, career training right in high school, so that they're ready to get out and tackle the world and have a high-paying job. And if you send me to the United States Senate, I promise I will never disappoint the people of this great state. Thank you so much for being here, Nogales. I love each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you guys for coming. So what are we going to do? We're going to elect KARI Lake to the Senate, right? Woo! Let's get her in. Woo! Thank you for coming, guys. And I thank all of you for following me on my crazy journey. As always, I love you guys. Thank you.